Like last year, she had a sheet.
I know what that is.
I'm not sure you could say that 3 times fast.
Seizure.
Is that like?
Seizure.
Isn't that like a salad or something?
Seizure.
Jack, ain't you not here today?
Seizure.
You want to sit there?
Are you joking me? I can't say seizure.
Yo, Kai, I my dress.
Kai? What? So our essay, if the kids forget to stack their chair in the back at the end of the day, then they have to stack all the chairs the next day. All right, Jenna, hit the door, please. All right, get out your homework. I told you yesterday was the start of the hard stuff. All right, hey, just so in the right frame of mind, like no joke, we're in a somewhat of a tough chapter. Now, some of you may not look at any of this stuff, but for a lot of kids in this class, yesterday was going to be a little bit tougher. Today is going to be tougher. Today is absolutely tougher than yesterday in the sense of, I mean, I literally call what we're doing today the table of pain, right? It's tough in the sense of a lot of calculations. It's interesting in the sense of you will know immediately if you get the right or wrong answer after all this work. Any questions on last night's homework? All right, here we go. 2 to 28. Number 2 is no. Number 4 is no. Number 6 is, this is a lot of no's. No. Number 8, finally, yes. Number 10, we're back to no. But number 12 is yes. 14 is also yes. But 16 is no.
What was 12?
12 was yes. Yes. All right, 18. Now we're into solve the equation for y. Big words of solve the equation for y in terms of x. Just get y by itself. So the final answer for number 18 is y is equal to 8 over 5x plus 2. Number 20, y is equal to 4 over 9x minus 4. And number 22 is y is equal to 5 over 4x minus 5.
I have no idea how we got this. I thought we were giving like just what X was in the while.
Okay, it literally was exactly what we did in class. Find y in terms of x. Solve y, yes.
I put them in mixed numbers. Mixed brackets.
Nothing wrong with that. So you got 1, 1, 4. That's fine. I'm just going to say you're never going to do that, and you're not going to understand why until we get to something called slope. So we never want to mix numbers. Okay? And you'll see why we get to slope. It's not wrong mathematically, and you can still do slope with a mixed number, but it's so much easier as an improper fraction. All right. Let's see. Number 24. What values work, and then we have to plug them in. So part A, solve in terms of y. So part A for 24 is y is equal to negative x minus 1. And then it says find the solutions. Remember, solutions are going to be an ordered pair. It's not one number, it's 2 numbers. So it said throw in 3, see what you get. When you throw in 3, you get negative 4. So it would be the point 3, negative 4. Throw in 1 and you get negative 2. So 1 comma negative 2. And then lastly, throw in, what's the last number? Negative 2, and you get 1. 24. All right, 26. Part A, solve it for y. Y is equal to 1/3 x minus 4. And then throw in the 3 numbers, which will give you a point. The first point is negative 3, negative 5. The second point is 6, negative 2. And the last point is 12, comma 0. All right, last one. The equation will be y is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 4. And then the 3 points would be -6, -1, -2, -3, 10, -9. All right, good news, bad news. Which one you want? Bad news is everything we're going to do today is like the last 3 problems. Everything that we do today will be like the last 3 problems.
What's the good news?
The good news is you're going to get better at it because all the problems are like that. All right. So if you struggled with 24, 26, 28, that's all we're doing today. 24, 26, 28, over and over and over again. Okay. All right. Collect. All right. Hey, tomorrow you need to bring nothing to my class other than your purse. If you want to bring a lot of stuff, that's fine. But I don't need anything. You just need to show up. Okay. We will do the practice test tomorrow. I believe there's 6 practice problems for math. And then there's there's
On the floor?
on the back of your seat. Then there's I forget how many practice problems for the 2 language arts tests. But all we're gonna do is mess around on the computer, see what the test looks like. We're gonna look at the calculator that they have us use on the test. It should be a pretty easy day. It's a 37-minute class because it's Friday. I'm struggling whether or not I can fill 37 minutes with 3 practice tests that are only about 6 questions long. So I don't know. I'll figure out something to do. There should be 2 teachers in here, myself and one other teacher. And then there's going to be some technical people. So in case the computers crash, oh boy, is it going to be fun tomorrow. Here's your homework. Now, before you write it down, let's look at the calendar. If everything goes to plan, which it won't, right? It's going to take you 3 days to finish the test, which I'm betting that most of you are done by the 2nd day. We only have 1 or 2 people left by the 2nd day. We're teaching on this Wednesday. Okay. That means that your homework for tonight is actually going to be due either Wednesday or Thursday of next week.
Come on.
Right. Wednesday or Thursday, you get to pick when you do it. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week.
Okay.
So should I try to days, like what
You're going to take your time and you're going to do it at your own pace.
What
And if you
happens
finish,
like I don't
then they're
finish
going
it?
to, as soon as the day you come back, they're going to call you down. You're going to finish your test then.
Oh, okay.
All right. They're going to set up like the conference room downstairs. Christian says you forgot me. Right, Christian? Okay. All right. While I grab his homework,
Sorry.
you probably done your homework. Okay. I would suggest to not do what Jackson was just recommending, which was, oh, it's due next Thursday. I'm not going to do this until next Wednesday. Because guess what's going to happen?
You're going to forget.
You're going to forget all of this stuff. So not only am I going to have to do a quick review when we get back on whenever we get back,
We need to do it right now.
but I would absolutely suggest that you do it tonight, tomorrow at the latest. Okay. Now it's 2 through 18 evens, right? So basically 9 problems. These do take some time. As you look at what I just handed you, notice that every single problem has a graph. So our end result is to make a graph of this stuff. So do you need graph paper? Well, it'll certainly make your life a little bit easier, but it can be done if you're neat by hand. I'll wrap up today's class showing you how to do this by hand. But yes, if you got some graph paper, it will definitely make your life a little bit easier. Okay, so, I mean, there's no getting around it. I mean, the days of nice, easy math are behind you. We get into full-blown this is full-blown algebra. This is not like pretend algebra or practice or algebra for beginners. This is algebra what we're about to do. Okay, algebra can be, I mean, the understanding of it isn't that challenging. It's the doing of it. The doing of it will take time. This is probably one of the most painful things in algebra that we're about to do. All right, other people would argue there's other more painful things. I argue that the one that requires you 40 steps to get to one answer is pretty painful. This one requires roughly 20 to 40 steps to get to the answer. This one, what we're about to do. All right, we'll count after the first one to see how many steps it was. Okay. 100%. right? If you're like, I don't know, I'm not going to call out names, Jenna, but if you're like some people in this class and your attention span is like the attention of a, I don't know, what has a
Toddler?
toddler? Okay.
Me.
You're not going to get this, right? So, and no, I'm making a joke with Jenna here, but I mean, let's be honest with all of us that there are times in this class where you're not paying attention. You're not going to get this if you don't pay attention. None of it's hard. It's a lot of stuff to do, but it's easy to understand if you stay with me. All right, so here we go. And as I said before, no joke, this is straight up Algebra 1, right? You will do what you're about to do from now until whenever's the last math course you ever take, what we're about to do. I call this the table of pain. So you do these tables of pains throughout your math education. All right, last class, we talked about equations that had two letters, two variables in them, okay? So there's an example right there. Last night for homework, right, we found out that there are infinite solutions to these, not just one, not x equals 5, but you wind up with an infinite number of answers. There's one answer. Hey, if I let x be 2 and y be 2, 2 times 2 is, plus 2 is, so there's one of an infinite number of solutions. Hey, here's another one. 2 times 0 plus 6. Hey, there's another answer. And I could do that for a long, long, long time until I'm dead, right? And I still wouldn't even have a small percentage of all the answers, okay? So solutions to equations that look like this have infinite solutions, number one, right? But number two, right? These are all points, right? I mean, literally points. There's an X and there's a Y. They're an ordered pair, okay? So, what would happen if we graph those points? All right, I'm going to graph these points. By the way, these were solutions to, let me back up, to that equation. Here's 4 solutions to that equation. So let's graph those points. Okay, let's see, 2, 2 would be there. 0, 6 would be there. 4, negative 2 is there. Negative 1, 8 is there. And guess what happens if you play connect the dots?
We get a line.
So it turns out that solutions to equations that have 2 variables makes lines. Therefore, we call this type of equation a
So you're telling me equations make up a game?
equations make up shapes.
And that shape.
shape
of the game.
Here is your first shape, linear line, right? This equation makes lines. We have equations that make almost all shapes. Almost all shapes. There's an equation for circles. There's an equation for smiley faces. You can make shapes with equations. Hey, I start off this chapter by talking about Rene Descartes, and I said he's responsible for Call of Duty. How do you get a video game where you've got pictures and things you can do? Because they make shapes. Right? Rene Descartes is responsible for video screens. Because there's math that can represent the shape of the, I don't know, you're drawing a building, you need straight lines. How do you get a straight line to appear on your computer screen? You come up with the equation for it. This is why computer science programmers get paid the big bucks. Because they come up with all the equations that makes that picture. By the way, it's not a person with a paintbrush drawing that stuff. Doesn't happen. It's a nerdy guy or gal sitting there with equations, typing them into a computer, right? It's not a picture, it's math. Okay, there's my rant about why math is important if you want to be a computer person. All right, today's class is, I'm going to give you an equation, and guess what you're going to do? Oh, by the way, it's going to be a linear equation. I'm going to give you a linear equation, and guess what your final answer is going to be? You're going to graph that line. Okay, that's all we're doing. Unfortunately for you, it's question 24, 26, and 28. Okay, what did you do on question 24, 26, 28? Let's see, you took the equation, you first solved it for y, and then you plugged in 3 points. Guess what every problem is? I give you the equation, you solve for y, you plug in 3 points, 1 extra step, now you graph the 3 points. Okay, that's what we're doing today. Okay. Whew. All right, box number 1, write this down. So yes, first shape. There's, I don't know, infinite number of these things because it makes an infinite number of shapes. But one of these equations makes lines. We call that a linear equation. It's an equation. We don't say that makes a line. We say that defines the line. Boy, is that an important idea. When I say defines the line, I mean that the shape is an equation. And I mean the equation is a shape. Not part of the shape, not a little bit of the shape, the whole darn thing. This is why, obviously, we can't draw the whole line. We can only draw part of it. We'll put arrows on the end to indicate that it goes on forever. Okay? The equation, you don't need to write this down. The equation is the line. Like literally, it is the line. I can put that equation in my pocket. I can drive or fly to China, pull the equation out of my pocket and redraw it, and it doesn't change. Okay? The equation is the line is the equation. Okay? If I show you the line, you can come up with the equation for the line. We're not going to do that today, but you will this year. I'll give you the shape. You will tell me the equation of that shape. Okay? Lastly, you don't need to write it down. Any point on the line makes that equation true. Any point. Because the equation is the line is the equation. Let me show you that to you. There was our line. Hey, how many points are on this line?
4. It's not a straight line.
4 out of
Many.
an infinite. So there are other points up there. For instance, this point right there. Okay, that is 1, 4. That is 1, 4. Now I just claimed that 1, 4 right there will make that true. Well, let's see. If this is 1, 4, x is 1 and y is 4. 2 times 1 plus 4. There you go. Any point. Hey, this point right here is on it as well too. I could throw that in there. It would make it true. I'm not going to do it 20 times, but any point. Now, granted, there's a couple points on here that you can't tell what their numbers are. Okay, but any point that's on this line makes that equation true. Okay. Today's class, I'm going to give you the equation. Our end result is we graph the line. Okay. There are steps. You don't need to write this down. We're going to do it. You're going to have it memorized. We're going to solve for y. Right? We did that last class. We're going to do a table of pain, except it's technically called a table of values. Okay. This is new, sort of. You've made tables before. This is the most painful part of the process. Okay. You're going to graph those points, right? That was Tuesday. We graph points. We're going to play the connect the dots. That's today's class. Okay, connecting the dots, easiest, pretty easy, painful, okay, easy as well. So there's only one thing that truly is not fun. It's that one right there. All right, so let's do something painful. Okay, so we'll start off with this. I'm going to do an example, so just watch me do it. I said step number 1 is solve for y. That means get y by itself. What am I going to do to both sides? Okay. See what I did? I just subtracted x from both sides. I didn't add x, I subtracted x. Is y by itself? What do I need to do? Everything. This by 2, that by 2, that by 2. I just did it. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Well, I can't divide that by 2, so it's just that divided by 2, and that divided by 2 is 1. Okay? Hey, I solved for y. Step number 1 is done. I said that's the medium sort of one. Step number 2 is the painful one. I didn't say it's hard, I just said it's painful. I'm going to make a table of values. Table of pain. I'm going to make a table with 3 columns. Most people don't spend the time to make it neat like that, but there are some kids that like to do that. By all means, if it gives you pleasure, do that. Most kids do this. That's all you got to do. Okay? You're going to come up with values to put in for x. Guess which numbers you're going to pick?
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're going to pick the easiest numbers that you can think of.
0. 1.
0 is always going to be one of your numbers.
5.
10, but remember we got to graph 10. So maybe 10 might be too large, but 10 is an easy number.
5.
How about we choose easiest numbers ever?
-2,
1.
0.
How about 1?
5.
How about -1? How about 0? and maybe we'll throw in a 2 and a negative 2. How many points are you going to be required? Well, we're going to start off with 4, and then we'll wind up with 2. How many points to find a line? If I draw 1 point, how many lines go through that point?
Infinite.
1,
Infinite.
2, 3, 4. Infinite, right? So I need more than 1 point, because if I draw 1 point, I don't know how many lines are there. What happens if I draw 2 points? How many lines go through 2 points?
One.
There's 1. Any other line go through those 2 points. That's it. So guess how many points do you really need with a table of pain? We need 2. Math teachers are mean and cruel. All of us say on the first time you do this, we want 4 points. Do you really need 4 points? You only need 2. Okay, but yes, we'll do 4 points today. All right, we're going to pick nice and easy numbers. So for instance, I don't know, I'll pick -2, 0, 2, and 4. Look, wait a minute, you said 1 was easy. Yeah, I got a fraction. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, here's the pain. Last night for homework, you did it 3 times. Now I'm saying do it 4 times. I got to take each one of those numbers, toss it in, see what I get. All right, what's -2 divided by 2?
-1.
And a -1 is +3. That's painful. What's 0 times that ugly fraction? +3. That's why we always pick 3. It's easy. By the way, you ready for the math trick?
You mean 0?
Here's the magical math hand. Whenever you throw in 0, guess what you always get? You get that thing, whatever's there, positive or negative. That's why we like 0, magical hand. You cover that up, whatever number's there, that's the answer always to 0. Not 3, but whatever's right there. Because you're going to be multiplying or dividing with a 0, you get 0. That's 2 divided by 2. But it's a -1. -1 plus 3.
-2. Oh, 2. -2?
No, because the negative would turn into a, I'm sorry, positive times a negative is a negative. All right, 4 divided by 2
Two. -2.
plus 3.
1.
Okay. Now, last step, we plot the points. Where are the points? Well, the points are this column and this column put together. X, Y, X, Y, X, Y, X, Y. A lot of math teachers in some books will put an extra column, and they'll have you write the points. I think that's too much work.
2, 4, 0.
So -2, 4, 0, 3. Okay, I'm just going to say 8th graders can look at 2 columns. Maybe that's not true, but I'm going to say I don't care if you make a 3rd or a 4th column or not. What's my first point?
-2.
-2, 4 is right there. What's my second point? 0, 3 is right there. How many points to find a line? Technically, you're done. Draw your line. But math teachers are mean and cruel. You make you do 4 points. 2, 2, 4, 1. Okay, now, I'll be honest with you. It's not that we're mean to you. We make you do at least 3 points because what happens if you make a math mistake? Then this point will wind up right here, and you're like, well, that doesn't make a line, and you get to know immediately you made a math mistake. We only make you do 2 points, and your first one is right, and your second one is wrong. Guess what? You still get a line. But if you do 3 or 4 points, and your second one is messed up, but this one is good, this one is good, this one is good, you can say, oh, wow, that one must be wrong. Okay? So that's kind of, I don't know. Maybe that's just me trying to justify why math teachers are mean, but maybe that's why we have you do 4 points. Okay, play connect the dots and you're done. How long is this going to take you?
5 minutes.
Not very long. I mean,
I know, it's going to take you a long
it's gonna
time.
take a while to do the math. The graphing won't take that
All
long.
right, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, 5 step, 6 step, 7, 8, 9, 10, graph, 11, 12, 13, 14, draw the line, 15 steps. It's a table of pain, all right? 15 steps. So let's do a table of pain.
Only
All right.
15?
Box 2, how many did I give you for classwork right now?
2.
Flip the paper over.
4.
4. All right, so we got 4, we got 25 minutes. Let's see if we can get all 4 done in 25 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. I gave you 9 for homework. It's probably gonna be the amount of time that we take to do this is the amount of time it takes you to do your homework. Times whatever, I gave you 9 of them. All right, step number 1, you take the equation, you solve for y. First step, we're going to
Subtract 3x.
subtract 3x. So that would give me y is equal to
Negative 3x
plus 1.
Can you just do 1 minus 3x?
Now, we had the conversation with Jace yesterday that I said, I'm holding some information back from you. You're going to find out, you're going to want this to be the second number.
What thing is that?
Mathematically, if you didn't do that, would you get it wrong? No. Okay. Now, the book would love for you to write this equation right here and then write it 4 more times, plugging in these numbers for x. Okay? So I'm going to plug that in there. I'm going to pick my numbers. I'm going to pick wisely. Hannah, pick me 4 easy numbers that you want to use. Okay, even easier than that. How about even easier? I like the -1, I like the 2, and I like the 1. Give me the easiest number of all times. 0. So how about we go -1, 0, 1, 2. There's nothing wrong with 4. 4 is a relatively easy number, but 0 is easier than 4. 4 times 8 is 32. Ugly. 4 times 0 is 0, which is way easier. Okay, we got to do that one at a time. We're going to start with -1. -3 times -1
Positive 3.
minus 1.
Plus 1.
I'm sorry, you're right. Plus 1.
4.
No, I got you off because I was thinking from the previous one, -1. It's plus 1. Okay. The book would love for you to show your work right here. Some of you, not all of you, not even most of you, can do the whole thing in your head. And even some of you kids that could do it in your head, Gabby, right? If you don't write it down, you're going to screw it up. So I'm going to recommend, I don't care who you are, write it down. So look at the numbers. Magic hand, Jenna. When you throw in 0, guess what you get? Isn't that sweet? There's no math involved. Well, technically there is. We throw, because it's either going to be multiplication or division right here. But the whole thing is going to turn into 0. 0 divided by anything is 0. 0 times anything is 0. So it's just that number right there, which is why we always pick 0. 0, 1. Okay, you can write and show the math, but you get 1. All right, 1. -3 times 1?
Negative 3.
Plus 1.
0.
No. No.
Negative 2. Negative 5.
All right, let's throw in a 2. -3 times 2?
Negative 6.
Plus 1?
Negative 5.
All right. Smart kids pay attention. Slow kids think about pretty kitties. All right. Hey, what's that number?
-3.
That's suspicious.
Huh?
Oh,
Smart kids, what's that number?
-3.
4 minus 1 equals 3.
That's suspicious.
There's no 3.
Or they all equal 3 in some way.
All right. What's our last step?
1, 2,
Graph it.
3, 4.
All right. What's the first point,
-1.
Smalley, that we got to graph? It's not a 1, 4.
Or -1. 4.
So -1, +4 goes right there. Second point is 0, 1. Every time you put that second point, it's going to make a line, but if you mess up the math, you're not going to know until you throw in the other 2 points and, oh, I messed something up. 1, -2. 2, -5. If you make a mistake on the graph, you're like, whoa, I made a W, right? There's 2 types of mistakes. There's
W.
I graphed the point incorrectly or I did bad math. It's one of the two, or I guess it could be both. Okay. But if you get a V or a W or something, you don't get a straight line, immediately you know you screwed it up. There is a chance you can still get it right. Okay, there you go. That took us 6 minutes.
Why does that happen?
What happened?
How when you subtract the first two and the last number,
That's
you get
interesting.
negative. Why does this happen?
We should explore that, right?
Yeah.
We won't do that today, but we will explore that.
Dang.
All right, box 3. I said we're doing 4 of these, and we had 25 minutes. That took us 6 minutes. 4 times 4 is 16. We should finish early. Let's see. Step number 1, solve for y. What are we going to do both sides? If you're sitting there, Caden, and you're not doing anything, right? Caden, what are we going to do to both sides now? This was Caden's question. Yeah, divide everything by 2. Occasionally I'll get a kid like, oh yeah, that turns into 4. They'll forget to divide the x by 2. See what I did? Okay. The previous problem we just did it involve fractions? Were there fractions in the previous one? Okay. So last one we picked -1, 0, 1, 2. This time we're going to, because we have a fraction, we're going to be smart about it. You ready for the rule?
No one.
If you have a fraction, the numbers that you're going to pick, you're always going to pick 0, are going to be multiples of the denominator. So 2 and -2 are good numbers to pick. 4, -4, 6, -6. Why?
Because they're even.
Because they're divisible by this number. So we don't want to pick 5. 5 divided by 2 is another fraction. We want to pick a number that we throw in for x, we get rid of a fraction. So only for the ones, if there are no fraction involved, always pick -1, 0, 1, 2. But there's fractions involved, look at the denominator and give me multiples of it. Now we only need 4 points. So all I really need is -2, 0, 2, and 4. Sorry. If you don't pick those numbers, you can still get to the right answers, but you're going to be dealing with fractions. Nobody likes fractions. All right, what's -2 divided by 2?
No, -1.
Plus 4.
1.
That's a
I still haven't heard the right answer.
-1. -2. 2.
-1 plus 4.
Oh.
3.
2.
Let's go back. -2 divided by 2 is
-1.
plus 4.
Oh, -5.
You guys are like, everyone's
I
wrong.
said 3. I said 3.
I didn't hear whoever said 3.
I said
All I heard was
I
4, 5, -3, 2, 1.
Everything but 3.
Magic hand. What happens when we throw in 0? Now, I do want to caution you, if this had said -4, the answer would be -4.
What?
So you do have to, if it had said -4, you do have to include that symbol. So we throw in 0, okay, well, there's the math, it's 4.
4, 5.
4, 5.
Okay. If we throw in 2, 2 divided by 2 is
1.
plus 4.
5.
4 divided by 2
2.
plus 4.
6. Why is it in order like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, why is it in
Wait.
order?
Interesting.
It's the way
Oh,
you
I'm
write it.
naughty.
Interesting.
If you write it differently, it's not because I wrote it.
When we talk about this concept of slope, we will talk about that. All right.
Stonks.
Only thing left is to graph the point. So let's see. -2, +3. 0, 4. Remember, when you graph 2 points, it's always going to make a line. You can still get that ugly W if you made a bunch of math mistakes. So don't play connect the dots on 2 points, ever. To at least 3 or 4, that way you can confirm you got it right. 2, 5. Sorry, 2, 5. And then 4, 6. Yeah, I made a nice straight line.
And this one becomes 1. You subtract it, it becomes 1.
So maybe there's something, maybe that's not a pattern then.
Yo, wizard hat.
I'm confused.
All right, that took us 5 minutes. So we got faster.
Got it. Let's go quick.
I don't think you can probably do this faster than 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes is probably, so I'm giving you 5 times 9 is 45 minutes worth of work.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's like,
What
All
you
right.
capping? Cap.
Yeah.
Calling cap.
oh,
No, it's not due tomorrow. It'll be due next week, whenever our first day of class, which is, if we do 3 days of testing, it'll be Thursday. What I said was, don't wait till next Wednesday to do the work, because you'll forget this. All right, first step, what are we gonna do?
Get that to myself.
So what are we gonna do?
Add 2x.
We're gonna add 2x to both sides. Gonna add 2x to both sides. Hey, y is by itself.
Wait, what? Already?
We just add 2x to both sides. Brecht, what numbers are we gonna pick for this one? Are there any fractions? So if there's no fractions, then what numbers are we always gonna pick? -1, 0, 1, 2.
We try big numbers.
Well, y isn't by itself at the start.
Yeah,
Generally
you got it.
7.
I do. That's it. Now we're picking numbers. So we're gonna pick -1, 0, 1, 2.
I already got that right.
Okay. -1 times 2.
-2.
Oh boy, that was easy. 0 times 2x.
0.
That was easy.
2,
1 times 2.
2,
2.
And 2 times 2 is,
4,
what's that number?
2,
All right, smart kids think about this. Slow kids think about cute bunnies.
What?
What's happening?
There's
Oh,
a pattern
yeah,
where it's times 2.
It's going up by.
2s.
Hmm.
Oh.
That
How is
pattern
this-
will not be there if there's a fraction involved. But if there's not a fraction, that pattern will be there. And no, I'm not calling people dumb in the class. I'm just saying that's a pattern that you will probably recognize, all of you, if you're paying attention. If you're not paying attention and you are thinking about pretty bunnies, you can still graph and be okay. But if you're paying attention and there's no fractions involved, that pattern will emerge.
Wait, that means you can cheat this. Like,
Yes, it does.
Whoa!
But
What'd you say? Sorry, I was thinking about pretty bunnies.
But it's only if there's not fractions. And you pick these numbers that go up by 1. Okay. All right. Graph the points: -1, -2,
It makes it orange.
0, 0, 1, 2, and 2, 4.
why does the fifth box just say graph and then no numbers?
Because Mr. C forgot to write the equation down.
Are you joking? I have to wait.
Or maybe boy, that would be smart if I did that, but I wasn't that smart. Okay.
That one is not.
Which question?
How is this difficult?
I didn't say any of this was difficult. I just said
You
it's
said it
painful
was the most challenging thing.
because you had to pay attention to understand what we're doing. If I had given you this in the start and said, well, figure it out yourself,
I've loved being
right,
able
you had
to.
been able to cry probably. Okay, write this one down. 3y minus 2x equals 6.
Bunnies are cool.
Okay.
I don't have anybody in the class that's not capable of understanding this. Occasionally, some years I will.
I get this.
All right. This is as complicated. This one will have a fraction. Okay. What are we gonna do to both sides?
Add
I'm gonna add 2x to both sides. This one has the most steps. Any of the ones that have fractions have the most steps. So we add 2x. Then I'm going to
Divide.
everything by,
3.
and like I said, the typical mistake is, oh, I divide by 3. They only do it to the 6. They don't do it to everything. That's going to give me an ugly fraction. Okay.
I don't like this.
So I'm going to get y is equal to 2/3 x plus 2.
Oh God.
I don't
Wait, I thought you were supposed to do 3y
Yeah,
or
I
6 divided by 3.
agree with
I
you.
did do 6 divided by 3. It's 2.
No.
Then why did you do it to 2x?
Because you have to divide everything. You can't just say I'm going to divide one thing by 3, everything by 3.
Why did you split x3 of the fraction?
Because 2 divided by 3 is a fraction, right?
No, but I'm saying, why didn't you put X in separate?
I'm taking everything and dividing it by 3.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I get.
Maybe this is a bit difficult.
All right. We got a fraction. Olivia, were you paying attention? We have fraction. What numbers are we going to pick? Yeah, I'm going to look at the denominator. What's the denominator?
3.
I'm going to pick -3, 0, 3, and another number that 3 goes into.
6.
That's what I would pick. You could pick 9 as well. Just remember, you got to graph it. So if you pick 12, there's no 12, right? So -3, 0, 3, 6. Yeah.
So, but now because it's going up.
No, I said it doesn't work if there's fractions.
Oh, right.
And I'm lying to you in that sense. Is it does work. I'm just not telling you the full story. Okay. Here we go. This one's ugly. -3 times 2 divided by 3
-2.
plus 2.
0.
That's a lot to do in your head.
Where's the negative? 2.
Because we picked -3.
Oh.
Magic hand with 0 turns into. That one was easy.
How did you get 0 if like you do?
What are you talking about?
Okay,
Oh, it's
so-
-3. -3 times 2.
No, I'm talking about the -3, 0.
I am. -3 times 2
That's -6.
divided by 3.
2.
-2 plus 2.
I-
All right. 3 times 2
6.
divided by 3 plus 2.
8.
See, I was correct.
4.
6 times 2
That answer.
divided by 3
4,
plus 2.
6.
That's a lot of math to do in your head. Callie.
I don't know if this is. Oh wait, it disappeared.
It goes
On
up.
the last one, it had the third one as -3.
Yeah, that's a mistake. Thank you for catching that. The answer was right, but the notation was wrong. All right. Clearly, I caught it at some point, but I just didn't change the other one. All right. We did do all of that in our head. I mean, literally, I had you all do that in your head, but it's probably not a good thing. It's probably better to write it all out, visually look at it, maybe do this on some scratch paper. It's a lot of math to do in your head. Hey, the only thing left to do is graph the points. When you graph the points, we make a nice straight line. We're done. We actually did that one pretty quick, even though that's the hardest one. Here's what I want you to do. We got 10 minutes left to class. Open up your books and do one of them.
I don't have my.
And that way you have it, at least for homework, you have one perfect example. So that when, even though I said, hey, do your homework tonight, most of you will say,
These are
whatever, I'm
perfect
doing it next Thursday.
These are perfect examples.
We're doing written exercise. What's up?
I just-
Oh, thank you. Okay, so look up here. How do you graph this without graph paper? One, you got, I'm not me. So some of you can draw nice straight lines. If you want to do it without graph paper and you're sloppy like me, you need a straight edge. So you draw your y-axis or your x-axis first. You draw your x-axis, and then we're going to graph that point. Kyle, what's the first point?
-3, 0.
-3, 0. Watch me. -3, 0. -3 is your x. So I go count 1, 2, 3. As soon as I put that second tick mark, I've established the spacing. And I try to be very accurate. -3,
0.
well, that would be right here. Second one?
0, 2.
0, 2. Now, there's my spacing. I'm going to try to do the same thing going up. 1, 2. So 0, 2 will be right here.
3, 4.
3, 4. I'm trying to do the same spacing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3, 4. And you can notice I've already screwed it up because that's pretty big spacing right there. Last one?
6, 6.
3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6. And it sort of kind of makes a straight line, but that's all you need to do. Okay? Yeah.
So number 1 through 9 on our homework.
Yep.
It's wanting us to graph the equations in class actually.
So all you're going to do is go back to question number 1 and do exactly what we just did.
It also says use a set of coordinate axes.
Yeah, all they're saying is use those points. So they're using 0 as one of the answers. So just do -1, 0, 1, unless it's or negative 0, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, unless there's a fraction in there. I'm just knocking things on. Bull in the China shop. Didn't they do a Mythbusters, the bull in the China shop?
What do you mean?
I think they did. I think they literally had a bull in a China shop to see if anything would happen.
I'm scared.
What happened?
I don't.
I think he got
I think
nervous
I've-
and destroyed the entire
All right, Donovan, any questions?
Still thinking about Bunny?
Donovan is getting a snack right now, apparently.
Really? It's puppy. What is the homework again?
Got it? Donovan, you got it?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Get out of Maryland.
All right. I will catch you during the next class. Donovan, are you coming in to take the test or not?
Yes.
Yeah, come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
And we will see you our class later.
No, 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 no.